من بعيد البعد جئنا، وصلنا إليها وفيها اجتمعنا، ومن هنا اليوم بدأنا
رحلة ال1000 ميل بدأت بخطوة، وهكذا كانت الرحلة إلى بلاد قلبها يسع الجميع، ومنهم نحن أصبحنا.
والرحلة التي بدأت بخطوة ستبدأ اليوم بكلمة، حيث أصبح لنا صوت عربي يدخل القلوب والبيوت،
يقرب لنا كل المسافات، يعرفنا بالغد الآت. صوتنا في البلد الجديد يجمع الأجيال ويقرب البعيد.
اسبو FM لكل المحبين بالعربي، سنكون مجتمعين. اسبو FM خطوتنا التي بدأت بكلمة وقصيدة ونغمة.
من فنلندا نحو المدى سيكون الصوت والصدى.
اسبو FM صوتكم، إذاعة وجدت لكم
وستبقى لكم.
من فنلندا اسبو FM صوتكم.
مع نرجس.
دراسة وعمل، استشارات قانونية، أسئلة وأجوبة، قضايا ومعلومات
مع نرجس.
Kaikki mikä koskee arabialaisia ja lähi-itämaalaisia Suomessa.
كل ما يهم الجالية العربية والشرقية في فنلندا.
كل هذا وبرنامج مع نرجس. Good late afternoon from the heart of our capital city, Helsinki. My name is Narges HADI and I'll be your host today on this weekly program brought to you by Radio Espoo FM International. Today is the 8th of March. It's currently a little bit over 6 p.m. and we're celebrating International Women's Day here in the studio. I would like to take this day just as a phase where I can just show my gratitude to all those women out there, strong women who are an inspiration to many of us, who are a leading, making these landmarks that we're trying to follow, at least grasp a little bit of idea at what we can achieve as women, as girls, as young teenage girls. But as you guys know, I'm an adult already, so I'm just speaking this out loud. We want to take this moment today and just celebrate it. Really understand why we are talking about international celebrations and why celebrating women is important. And after a little bit of short break, I'll be coming back to you more on this issue. If you're looking into a new radio station, if you want to hear a change, start listening to Radio Espoo FM International. Hello again. My name is Narges HADI and today we're celebrating International Women's Day. First of all, I would like to say why we do celebrate this here in Europe, or actually it is an international holiday, so I assume everywhere at least something is mentioned about this day. And to be quite honest with you, this day is a reminder for all of us that still, till this day, there are things that are not considered equal between men and women. And not everybody has the same opportunity to pursue the same dreams, regardless of if they were a boy or a girl. So, 8th of March was suggested in the 1910 as an International Socialist Women's Conference to become a day to celebrate women, only women. But don't forget that this is not a time where we have to somehow, I don't know how to say it properly without causing an outbreak in the society. I'm trying to just say that this is a day where we should celebrate not only things women have achieved, but the progress we all have made as a society. And International Women's Day is just a tip of the iceberg, so to speak. A day when we can actually remind ourselves that there are still things that need to change, things that should evolve into a better, and things that we would like to see happen one day. And a lot has happened in 100 years. To be quite honest with you, a lot. Women have given a right to vote, right to their own freedom. Women have been given a chance to study in universities, to teach, to be pioneers in many fields. Women have given basic fundamental rights as men were given once. And equality has been a question we battle for and we try to talk about every day, how we can make things better for all of us, regardless if we were women or men. And this year, I think around the world it is celebrated even more than before. A lot of movements have been changing the concept of celebrating women, and I think another sort of platform have been given to women, to men as well, to speak up. Many of us know about the Time's Up movement or Me Too movement, or any movement considering giving a woman even more, empowering them. I'm not going to say more power on certain ideas or certain, no, I'm trying to explain that in a couple of years, even last year, there were issues that we as people were really silent about. For example, many of us knew about these crimes that were happening all around the world, and we sort of turned the other cheek and around, and just regardless of what were happening, we didn't even consider to talk about it, to really talk about it. And I think this year everything has changed. I mean, when I'm scrolling down the Instagram, I'm seeing more and more empowering quotes, more and more inspirational ideas of what is there, and we're talking about more about feelings, which is a great thing, because we used to say that only women cried, and we used to say that women were too sensitive for some position, or we didn't have what it takes to be our own boss, be a empowered, independent woman leading, I don't know, a march or something. But seriously, I think this year everything proved that women are much, much stronger than anyone have given credit for, even though this has been a fact scientifically and sociologically for over thousands and thousands of years. I mean, can you even bear the pain of child labor? Or can you even bear pain of heartbreak? Or losing someone or something? Or working day and night without being given any gratitude for? Think about that. I understand that there are some issues that needs to be talked about more. But take this as a positive thing. I'm not trying to give a different kind of voice for women. I'm just trying to make you understand that as a woman for myself, I'm feeling more grateful for men around me. They're being not more than kind, they are being protective and understanding of my situation, regardless of what I'm doing. And honestly, at this point in my life, I feel extremely valued and appreciated. And I don't think it's only because of the Time's Up movement or only because we're talking about things related to women's rights. I think it's because the understanding of what we are as a society or how we have evolved as a society is changing. The very concept of equality is changing, and that is the greatest question we have right now in our front of us. And we need to tackle this question, and we need to really think about it. What other options is there? And I would like to make you understand that if we're talking about women's rights, I'm not trying to make this as a joke for you, but seriously, till this day, in our society, there are women who are living in Finland that does not have the same opportunities that I do. And what for? Well, some people were brought differently. Some people were given different chances. And right now, when we're questioning these chances, when we're questioning the ideas of how we're supposed to raise our children or daughters, because it is International Women's Day, and we're talking about this issue, I want you to really think about it when you try to comment or try to talk about this question, like, do you understand why we are talking about this? Do you understand why this is important? We're not trying to give a power to already those who have it. We're trying to empower those who are in a bit of different situation. People, and especially young girls and young teenage women who are becoming adults, who do not know what they want to do for the rest of their lives, who do not know what are their options. Should they go study? Should they stay home? Should they just cease to exist? So if you get my point, I'm trying to give a platform for these people, anyone who is listening to me right now, that there are different things that we need to question more. And it is not the thing that I want to explain right now. It's just an idea that I want you to see things differently. And most important for me is that when I was given this opportunity to go study, and when I was given the opportunity to be trusted with my studies, in my opinion, I did A-okay. I still have the support I need, but I am learning every day new things. And this is letting me grow into a woman I want to be. Sometimes when people ask me, why did I choose law? Why did I choose to study a field where mainly 80% of, well, I don't know if it is even 80% nowadays, but most of the colleagues would be men. And this is a man-powered field. And why did I choose to study law? Well, the first question for me itself was that I had the best possible support for me to grow when I was little. I grew with boys, and I understood how men thought, and I knew how to survive in the kind of environment where I was an only girl for a while. So you have to understand that I already was in a environment where being a woman, being a girl was accepted, but some does not even have that kind of opportunity. So I need to let you guys, all those who are listening to me right now, to let you understand that what I'm getting into is we have to speak about things that are hard, that are considered weird. Like, why should we be speaking about girls who are living in Finland who don't want to study? Maybe they just don't want to study. Well, maybe they never had any other idea what they should do with their lives. Maybe they were raised in an environment where, to them, marrying in young age would be considered better option than continue their studies. But in the end, you have to understand that you're not the one who's going to live the life of a woman. The woman itself is. And that's why I'm trying to give you a platform where we can discuss these things in a positive manner, in a supportive manner, in a manner where we can actually pay attention and learn and understand and maybe teach and somehow inspire them to become even better. So I'm gonna take a short break, and after that I'll come back to you more on this subject.
دراسة وعمل، استشارات قانونية، أسئلة وأجوبة، قضايا ومعلومات مع نرجس. Kaikki mikä koskee arabialaisia ja lähi-itämaalaisia Suomessa.
كل ما يهم الجالية العربية والشرقية في فنلندا. كل ما يهم الجالية العربية والشرقية في فنلندا.
كل هذا وبرنامج مع نرجس.
Hello again, my name is Narges HADI and we're celebrating International Women's Day here in the studio. Today's episode is going to be in English, and we are not going to be discussing in any other language. For those who are tuning in with me from another cultures, I just want you guys to give me a chance to speak this matter today in an English language. And actually, I went through with this. I wanted to see what happened in every year when they were celebrating International Women's Day, and there is a list of years. And what I found interesting was actually a couple of these years. First of all, in 2002. When we were celebrating International Women's Day, we also celebrated Afghan Women Today, Realities and Opportunities. And what I want you to understand was that in 2002, we all understand that after 9/11, a lot of things happened in our countries, both in Afghanistan and in Iraq. And throughout this, a lot of things changed the concept of being given even any sense of education or rights. And I'm just looking at these dates, and I'm just reminding what happened on those days and how should we address these things that we feel when we hear that right now, when we look at what's happening in Iraq, for example, or in Syria, or in Afghanistan, or even Pakistan, we're thinking about the concept of women differently. We're straightly going back into a sense that we're living in a tribal manner, and because of the war or many wars that happened there. So when I'm seeing these dates and I'm looking at what did they do on those dates, for example, in 2002, Afghan Women Today was a top topic on that year when we were celebrating International Women's Day. And in 2004, not in 2003, in 2004, Women and HIV and AIDS was the important mission to that year. In 2006, women in decision making. This means women that were put in leading roles, for example, government positions or like NGOs, international organizations position, or even a World Bank managing positions. In 2008, in the year when we were celebrating International Women's Day, we wanted to invest in women and girls, in their education, in their work, in their giving them a chance to learn that there are more than just marital life. And you have to understand, don't get me wrong, I support the marital life. It's not just, it's everything. It's a part of your life. But that doesn't mean you don't have time for education. And receiving a good education just ensures a better prospect and better future for yourself and for your family. So this is what I'm trying to get here. This is the point what I'm trying to make, is that every year some question was the mission for the year when we were celebrating International Women's Day. And in 2012, empowering a rural woman, this means ending poverty in regions, in sections in the world. For example, in Northern Africa, Libya and Egypt, in Yemen, they were trying to concentrate on women, and they were trying to concentrate on empowering these women to get more active in a role in society. And is that something you consider wrong? Because in my opinion, like I said, women have been proven to be much stronger than men even give us credit. And this year, it is the time is now, meaning all activities is trying to transform women's life into more secure and more better in work field or in schools or in anywhere where we walk to, in any matter. We're trying to speak about sexual harassment. We're trying to speak about ending a violence towards women. We're trying to speak about crimes that are not easily captured by the police. So that is why in my opinion, when I watch these lists, when I really think about it and I go to that year and I'm trying to think how did it go, I'm seeing progress. I'm seeing much, much more progress than I was expecting. And a lot has happened truly in 100 years. Hopefully, we don't have to wait for another 100 years for anyone's idea to change. And Radio Espoo is this program in particular, this is a platform for us to discuss about things in a more positive manner. We are not trying to give you or even evaluate your values you currently have. We're not trying to give you any sort of ideas that what you're thinking might be wrong. We're just giving you a chance to think about that maybe what you're seeing right now could be even better. And as a woman, I feel it that it is my responsibility to empower any young girl or a woman who is hearing me right now. My life has been a total blessing, and I thank God every day for that. But seriously, it is all because I was given chances I don't think many other were. And I am grateful for all the necessities my family made, sacrifice they made for me to be where I am today. And honestly, I say this from the bottom of my heart. When I thank my family, I do thank them truly. But how many young adult, a young woman, can actually say that to their family, that they're thanking them for all the support? I don't think many have the same understanding of what their parents have done to them as I do. That is why we should raise better our children. We should give them different ideas, more positive ideas of what can be achieved. And this is what I wanted today. I wanted to speak about this. I wanted to literally give anyone who has a listening device or Facebook account to hear what I'm trying to say. And that is not just talk about this nonsense. I'm trying to give you guys an idea that a lot of things can change even from this day on. And we need to consider our sisters, our cousins, our friends. I'm talking about our Iraqi community here, or the Arabian community here in Finland. We need to stop gossiping about one another. We need to stop thinking about one another, and we should be competing with ourselves when we are thinking about how to become better. I mean, if you have a friend who is studying right now in a university and you want to be there, you shouldn't be bashing about it. You should be asking, what can you do to be where you want to be in a couple of years? Should you take I don't know, let's say if you want to get into medical school, should you get pre-med courses? Or if you want to study engineering, should you already go to the library and check for some math books? This is what I'm trying to give you a sense that we shouldn't be necessarily concentrating on other people. We should be concentrating on ourselves and on what are our goals and what are you good at. If you're good in sports, or if you're good in math, or if you're good in science, you should be concentrating on that and thinking, how can you make that a living? I mean, if you want to do whatever you want to do, just go for it. Nobody is stopping you now. On the contrary, I think if you ask anyone, everyone has some sort of opinion on what you are doing right now. But there might be those who would support you no matter what. And I'm talking about this from an experience. So I hope you understand that what we're trying to do here is give a value to our words. Your mother might have been a very strong woman, and she raised you. So if you have a young girl, a child you're raising, we're in Finland. Here, literally nothing is impossible. You should give that girl a chance to do things right. You should be there supporting. You should be there talking about things. If you're scared of the society, if you're scared of things that might happen to your young girl, she might go into a wrong crowd, or she might start liking boys in a young age, or she might think that something is wrong with her. Talk about things. The important aspect in understanding women is communication. If you want to know what a woman is thinking, talk to her. Seriously, I think a woman would answer to you in 500 pages long answer. I know it is hard sometimes for us to handle our emotions, but talk to us. If you have a question and you're thinking, why are you spending too much money, for example, in clothes when you just bought a new phone or something? Why are you constantly spending too much money? You have to understand that sometimes women use that as a escape, as a sort of like emotional response for something they're avoiding, or just they want to feel appreciated, and they're giving themselves that appreciation through shopping. And I know I do that sometimes, which I end up literally, I'm not going to say that I end up regretting it, but you have to see my point, that I understand that living in Europe, living in Finnish society can be for us Iraqis quite frightening, and we might get a wrong idea. But I was born here and I was raised here, and I was raised in two different cultures, in Iraqi culture and in Finnish culture. And in my opinion, I end up pretty much good, hopefully. I'm still crossing my fingers on this point, but I know what is right from wrong. And if I don't know, I will learn. And it is not anyone's concentration to concentrate on mine. It is not your concern to come tell me what I should do, but it would be helpful if you would support me. If I'm doing something wrong, you should advise me to do, not that. You should give me an other kind of advice. When you talk to a woman, try not to be aggressive on the matter. Try not to be in a sense where you are telling her what to do. Try to give her a chance to explain why she took those choices when she made that commitment and when she made that thing. And I guess what I want to say is that today we're celebrating a very important day. It is a day where governments are trying to issue new legislations to better environment for girls. It is a time for us to think about what can you as parents or siblings or husbands or wives do to women, to young girls, to anyone who is looking for a chance to become something. And the only thing I am thinking as an answer right now is support women no matter what. No matter what are their choices, support them. Remember that women are the ones who are going to raise the children. If a woman is given a wrong kind of education, she will raise a child with a different kind of understanding. She might neglect the child. She might give a child different kind of understanding on life, and it can be negative, and this might even evolve into a different kind of problem. If you understand what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to give you an idea that there is a causation here. When you plant a seed in a field of beautiful flower field, you have to understand that at some point that same seed you planted a long time can either become a beautiful flower or a dead, literally as soon as it gets into the sun. And like I said many times, we're celebrating International Women's Day. And this year, the important issue is time is up movement. Time is now. That means we are discussing crimes that aren't easily brought to justice by the police, because these crimes are not easily realized soon enough. We have always in countries, especially in criminology, in criminal law, we have the statutory limitation. That means some crimes have limitation into suing them. And I want you to really grasp this idea, because I understand that some of you might not understand what I'm speaking about, and maybe some of you will not understand what I'm trying to get into, but like I said, Radio Espoo is bringing you this program as a platform, and we're trying to be positive about things. We're not trying to give a wrong idea to anyone. We're trying to discuss this matter in more appropriate manner, so to speak. And what I do most of my time is actually answer questions. And I don't have all the answers. I'm still quite young to even think about all the answers that there is out there. I'm still in learning process, and I think as a lawyer, I'm going to be in learning process for the rest of my life, because law changes quite quickly nowadays. And I think it's for the better. But I just wanted to be given this opportunity to speak up today about things that I appreciate, about things that I find it still worthy of talking. And women's rights are one of those. You have to understand that I come from a legal point of view, and when I was still working in a law firm, I remember these cases very, very painfully, like it happened yesterday, where a woman would enter into our office and explain why they left their country and how did they leave. And don't get me wrong, as a lawyer, I learned to understand what were considered to be fabricated truths and what were actual truths. And I learned many things while I was working in a law firm, and I learned, for example, that there are things still till this day, even though women have the support they need, they're still afraid of talking, because they grew in a society where talking about things that Arabian society might consider taboo, and here in Finland we might consider really regular talk, is shameful. So you have to understand that shame and being afraid that you might be shamed for something is something that really frightens women, because women is more delicate than a man, and women usually only have their reputation to consider. In our culture, you have to understand, I'm talking about in Arabian culture, a woman's reputation is everything. And here in Finland, it is still considered very much everything. And I'm not trying to, in any sense, talk ill about this issue, but you have to understand that what I'm trying to say is we're living in different kind of society where it is more appropriate to talk about anything that we want to understand. And I guess in this sense I'm trying to pinpoint the very essence of our problems, and one of our problems is that we are not communicating enough. If someone is afraid of talking, then how do you expect those people to even begin the learning process? How do you expect those people to survive in a society where they are afraid constantly? They might be afraid even of their families or their loved ones. They might be afraid of the shame. And the thing is, these women, they might not have done anything wrong. And even talking about moving to another city and studying might be a very frightful situation for them. Like really frightful situation. So this is where I'm trying to get into it. But I was lucky. I was really lucky, and I was blessed. And actually, I've never believed in luck. I always believed in blessings. And I can say for a fact that I am happy where I am right now, but I want every woman to experience that same happiness, because it is worth of everything you have in this life, the happiness. And I think regardless if you were a man or a woman, you are trying to seize that moment of happiness in this life. I think I'll take a short break, and after that we'll be talking a little bit more about this.
Turn down for what?
You want diversity. You want new music from different cultures. Tune in to Radio Espoo FM International.
Tune in to Radio Espoo FM International.
Good late afternoon from the heart of the capital city. Again, my name is Narges HADI, and today we have been celebrating the International Women's Day here in Radio Espoo FM International. And what I'm doing right now is just speaking my mind about this issue, about this holiday that is internationally accepted. Yes, we didn't get a day off today, which was bad in my situation, because I really would have wanted to have sleeping late and just watch TV, I guess, and just chill for a moment. But regardless, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling appreciated, and I'm feeling more understood now that we have been talking about the same things that for years we have been having conversation on. And in the beginning I was explaining why International Women's Day was considered to be something that was important to celebrate. And United Nations point of view in that was like, this was after United Nations was established, and after that they thought that already there was an 8th of March, a day to celebrate women. And I'm talking about as a UN representative, which I'm not, but I'm talking so you could understand what I'm getting into. And United Nations considered that every year it is necessary to get one big topic, a mission, so to speak, for a whole year, and to prevent anything from happening. I'm talking about any negative things from happening. United Nations is constantly trying with different international organizations and with governments to resolve these issues we're having, considering equality, considering women, considering mothers, considering families, and make their situation even better. If it's question of education or question of health or even a question of better living preferences for families, everybody is trying to do something, and it all goes from a one basic point of view, which is evolving into a better society, into a better as we have been before. Every year it is a process, a learning process for everyone. And I can see definitely that this year we have had a chance to talk about questions, a chance to talk about issues that have been concerning our security. And I am glad that we are talking about this, and I am glad that somebody is making some sort of effort for this, because we need a change and we're looking for that change. But let's not wait for 100 years till that change. Something what I used to read all the time was that this is for women especially. I think it was a quote, but I don't remember who said it. It was just that for independent or strong women, we might be them, we might recognize men, we might be one of them, or something like that. It was something. I actually have to check that out if I ever find that out one again, but I think what I'm trying to say is that there are many quotes today on Instagram, especially regarding of International Women's Day, and I'm happy that we're making effort. I'm really, truly happy about that. But I want to read a couple of quotes that I am seeing right now in Instagram. And one thing I said in the beginning of this program was that because I have been given a chance and an opportunity to pursue my own dreams, I want that same thing I have for other women as well. And from a young age, I always was this, and I am still, supportive of one another. Because like I said, I'm not, and I never have competed with anyone else but myself. And what I like more is this quote that I read often. It says like this: when a woman support each other, incredible things happen. And this is very much true. And another quote is, behind every great woman are even greater women. And that is true as well. And another thing what I wanted to read is that, like I said, I was born and raised here in Finland. I never got to experience what refugees experienced or what anyone who has left their country has experienced. But I am a dreamer myself, because I have a dream that at one point in my life I'm able to return to my home country, which I consider Iraq and Finland. This is the issue for me, because I want to have the same dreams as a foundation that I'm able to return one day. And many one consider that the dreams are the foundations for a better life. And we should never stop believing that things could happen. I want to read this another quote on. And sometimes people ask me, what have I done differently? And I simply answer, nothing. I do that all the time. But I think it was after I read this message on Instagram, I understand why I am feeling the way I am and why do it goes or it looks on the outside. And I guess the thing is, regardless if you were a woman or a man, but if you love yourself, you start to glow from the inside. And you attract people who will love you, respect you, and appreciate your energy. And everything starts with you and how you feel about yourself. And starting to feel worthy and value and deserving the receiving of the best things that life has to offer. You have to be magnetic. You have to be positive, to be magnifying the positivity towards you backwards, if you get what I mean. Anyway, today it has been a great day here in Radio Espoo International, and we have celebrated the Women's Day indeed. Unfortunately, our time is up, and I need to finish our episode today. What I want to say is that thank you for constant support for our radio station and for my programs, and I hope today has been a little bit different than usual. Again, my name is Narges HADI, and I thank you for this day. Have a nice one, guys.
If you're looking into a new radio station, if you want a here change, start listening to Radio Espoo FM International.
من بعيد البعد جئنا إليها وفيها اجتمعنا. من بعيد البعد جئنا وصلنا إليها وفيها اجتمعنا.